All this stuff, except for the kick and the trigger free, is made out by these two samples. Yes, noise. Ciao and welcome to this new tutorial. Today I want to talk about noise and how to use noise to generate some kind of samples like percussions, obviously hi-hat, but also samples like this one. So, as I said, basically all this stuff here is generated from these two samples here, the two noises. Those two samples are simply generated from the generator inside the ESP. So basically I want to not recreate 100% this pattern here, but I want to show you my perspective and how I worked to achieve this kind of results. So let's start from the obvious thing, the hat. I have here the same kick and trigger free pattern. Let's move on a new bank. Let's copy this and this one. And let's start to create a hat. This is one of the most simple things you can do with noise. So let's copy this. So we have always our original sample here. And the first thing I want to do is to shorten up a little bit this sample here. I want to create a closed hat. I think this is the minimum or not, I don't know. Okay. Something like that. So let's truncate. Now I want to give some envelope. That's cool. And let's also use, yes. So it's a little bit more snappier. Now I want to use some effects. So let's switch on bus 2. And the first effect I want to use is the crusher. I want to find the right frequency in order to make this sample a little bit more organic. And usually for this kind of hats, it's around 6K, 7K, around that. Of course, I don't want to use 100% wet, but I want to mix a little bit up. Yes, resample. Now, let's cut it up. And I want to gain a little bit more of high frequency that I lose by using the crusher. So let's use a simple equalizer. And here, on the low frequency, we shouldn't have anything. And we want to cut a little bit around 630. And I want to add a little bit of high frequency around 12K, 12K and a half. So let's do it. I want to cut a little bit the 600. It's a little bit less muddy and it's a little bit more clear, right? So nice. And we can delete the first one. And let's exchange. Nice. I want to copy over there and I want to use two samples. I just want to pitch down a little bit differently. Maybe not that much. Yes. So this is because I want to have two different flavor of the hat on the same line. So let's program this. We want to use the first one, and let's use like this on the first and on the last. Nice, and then we are gonna use the second sample, maybe a little bit less of velocity. Here. Nice. And we have our first hat line. Now, I want to generate a open hat, so let's copy again this sample and let's cut it up. I want a little bit more longer sample this time. Yes, let's cut and use the envelope. Nice. Let's cut also the beginning. Nice. So now I want to pitch it up. So let's try the ensemble. Or maybe it's better the vinyl. Nice. It's a little bit more lively. And I want to use something that can make, again, this sample more organic. And I've just used before the crusher. I want to use another effect that can be useful in those kind of situation, which is the ring modulator. And it's here. Now, we have to set it up, of course. With some settings, you can basically make the ring modulation self-oscillate and add this something. You have to be really subtle because it's noisy. But can add a little bit of crack, which is good. So let's resample. Nice. Let's delete the old one. So I want to add more transient. So let's compress and let's leave all the settings like this, except for the level. Let's lower a little bit. Nice. Let's resample. Cool. Let's delete that one and exchange. Let's use this one. Nice. Let's lower a little bit also this volume here. And we can also pan a little bit. Yes. Now, we have generated our basic hi-hat pattern, close and open. And now I want to transform this sample here in something that is rhythmic and gated. So I can use the slicer. And it depends on the rhythm I want. Let's try to figure it out. Something like that. So nice, let's resample. And I want to resample 4 bars. Nice. Now I want to make this sample a little bit more softer and wider in a stereo image. So I want to add a little bit of chorus. Just a touch. Nice. Let's delete this one and this one. Also this. I want to use another effect, which is the chromatic pitch shifter. Just to add a touch. Of this kind of metallic quality. So let's resample. I want to use a filter. This is a work that requires a little bit of time because we are starting from noise, so we are really sculpting this noise with effects. Let's use the super filter. And I want to, yes. Let's try to modulate also this filter here. Synchronize, let's do. Not bad, not bad. Yes, let's resample. And let's try to put this into a new sequence. Now, you can, of course, generate various kinds of percussion. So let's try generate at least one. Let's copy this and here. First of all, we want to cut it up. Yeah. And let's pitch it down and leave like this. And I want to use for the first effect the SBF, which is good for this kind of situation where you want to generate some strange and metallic Let's resample. Nice. Let's see if this fits. Yeah, it's not bad. Let's experiment a little bit with the pitch. this is good on the octave below, so I want to put this on the sequencer. So let's try to create another percussion, and this time I want to use the stopper to generate the envelope, the pitch envelope, this thing here. So let's resample. Nice. Now I want to pick only the last part. So the percussive part of the envelope. And now let's make a little bit more percussive with the compression. Nice. Cool. Let's try and experiment a little bit with the pitch. For now, let's leave like this. Now I want to delete this one, and this can be useful as a snare. Now I want to use the cassette player simulator and use a little bit of drive. Resample. Delete the old one, and the last thing I want to do is to create a tail with the reverb. So a very big reverb. Nice. Let's use the envelope. Cool. Let's see if this works. Yes. The last thing I want to show you is how to create something that is more tonal in a way. You can use to generate tonal stuff, for example, the hyperreso, which is a resonator. Obviously, you can generate tonal stuff, but you can use again the SBF directly on the noise. In this case, probably you want 100% wet. So let's loop this and you can simply generate something that you can put underneath your session, and it's a little bit more tonal without being tonal. So it's cool. Now let's place it there, and now you can obviously use effects. Let's use a little bit of reverb just for the nice. Let's Lower the volume, put in context. And yeah, obviously, you have to continue to work on the sample loops, resampling and using, for instance, on the hat, the tremolo for panning and stuff like that, using reverb for space and so on. So this is only the first step for sculpting a little bit more your noise. This is the starting point, and you can freely experiment with a lot of possibilities that we have, especially in the effects section into the ESP44. So this is it for today, and I've just launched my new 101 online lesson service, which you can book on my Gumroad page. So if you need 101 lesson on ESP44, Octatrack or Polyend Tracker, the original one, just book your lesson. And also, if you want to just give a shot to my new Live in London EP, just check my subvert. I hope this tutorial will be useful for you. Let me know in the comment if you are using noise in your tracks and how you use noise. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Ciao!